How's it going, guys? Welcome to TheBlueShifting and welcome to the first episode of Katawa Shoujo. I hope I'm saying that right. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I cover visual novels. They're my favorite form of media. It's a way to blend storytelling and art and music in a fantastic way that doesn't deviate from the focus of what we're trying to say. Like, it sacrifices gameplay, obviously, and some people don't even think of them as games, but I cherish them in my heart, and I love the stories that they tell. You'll find that I've got a lot of other ones on my channel. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, this is a good place for you to be, so thank you so much for joining me. And if you're one of my subscribers, welcome back once again. Katawa Shoujo is something that's a very special one. This might be one of the more interesting ones we ever cover. First and foremost, the story follows a narrative of kids, of high schoolers, who attend a very special school for people who have very severe physical disabilities of some kind or another. It's about like a place where they can be safe, where they can be closely watched, but where they can also possibly have like a normal life. And the game itself is very fascinating. It's older. I believe it's like 5 years old, 6 years old at this point, but it was crafted by a team of people who were inspired by an image that they saw. I've never even seen this image, but I was reading the bio on their website, and they kind of got together and they made this game. And from the people who have played it, they say it's one of the most moving stories they've ever come across. And this game is absolutely free. If you go to their website, you can or just type in Katawa Shoujo, you can actually just download it for free. And I even messaged them to make sure they'd be okay with me covering this on my channel. And they asked me just one thing. They said, absolutely, you can cover it on your channel, just don't monetize it, please. The project is free, and it wouldn't be fair for you to make money off of that. It's okay. First off, I don't make that much money. But anyway, either way, money's never going to be a barrier for me to enjoy a good story. And I hope it's never a barrier for me to share a story with you. So, I think this is going to be a good one that kind of makes the heartstrings tug and all that. So I think we're going to enjoy ourselves. I hope so, and I hope you'll join me along for this. So let's jump right in and see what kind of adventures we can have here. A light breeze caused the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The delicious trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. So, Hisao. I guess, is that me, I'm guessing? Maybe? Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 o'clock p.m. Ah, yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book when I wasn't looking. Oh, that's always cheeky. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this one shows a bit of initiative. Also kind of limits the amount of people who could have done it, probably. Well, I guess if he left his math book out for a decent amount of time, it wouldn't, but if it was literally like he looked away and then looked back and it was there, I mean, there's only so many people it could be. As I pondered the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it feel like time is slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Dun dun dun. I'm sure it's just fine. Hisao? You came? I think that's how you say them. Hisao? Sao? Sao? Hisao. I think that's right. A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of the dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams. My heart begins to race. Oh, fetch, he struck gold. He's like, this was you? Iwanako? I got the note telling me to wait here. It was you? Dang it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line. That was the result? Yeah, don't worry, man. That's what we do. Everyone's just like, it's perfectly normal. pathetic. Yes. I asked a friend to give you the note, so I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. Oh, lucky guy. Uh-oh. That doesn't look good. My heart is pounding now, as if it was trying to burst out of my chest and claim the girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. Ooh. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. Oh, fetch, man. Oh, it's so cool. I don't know. I never had a girl put like the initiative on for me. That would have been nice. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up and try to massage my throat, but it only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arm. Whoa, what? Hisao! My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Hisao! A beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. Oh, fetch! Oh, this poor girl's gonna think she killed him! The world around me, a canopy of bare branches and dull winter sky. Iwanako running toward me, all of this fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. Fetch, man. Literally, died of, overexcitement to a love letter. That would suck. Oh, man. 4-Leaf Studios presents. Remember, this was a free project. Katawa Shoujo. Inspired by Raita. I think that's the person who did the original, like a picture that inspired them. Writing Anonymous 22 and all those other people. Wow, look at that animation. That's gorgeous. Thank you for all these creators. It's very impressive. I hope you go on to make more work like this. It already looks flippin' fantastic. One of the things I think is interesting about animation, why they choose to do things like this. See how the foreground's a little blurry and the background's a little blurry? That's a camera angle focus. And it's interesting that they animate that because they don't have to. They can make the whole scene appear perfectly crystal clear. But we're so used to absorbing media through cameras. It's almost appealing in a way. It helps us kind of connect with, and it's funny because you get to draw these amazing camera shots that would be really hard or impossible to shoot, but you draw them out and it makes it feel like you're watching a real movie. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Fetch, man. Heart attacks, I don't want one, but they don't sound like fun. And that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you've left alone for your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. A strange word, foreign, alien one, literally, if he's Japanese. One of the things you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast, and it can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without having anything happen. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. Oh, that sucked. I had already a full day by then to digest everything. To them it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Fetch! Dude! Good parents. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. Yeah, that's the crappy thing, is that everyone, like when you get sick, everyone kind of picks up their lives again. I mean, I had a really terrible break in my knee in school, and like at first, like there was an outpouring of get well soon and everything, but it does dwindle quickly. I mean, but on the plus side, I got to go back to school like a month and a half later after I had reconstructive surgery, albeit on crutches. I was on those crutches for 9 months, but at least I was there. That's really... Man, and that's the worst thing too, is like a health problem. Health problems are some of the most frustrating trials I have to go through. I realized that the only reason I'd gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. What about that one chick? Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. That's really kind of sad. Oh, man. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on the snowy day ever again. A hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but he told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar on those surgeries had left on my chest, slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there's at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. Well, that's good, actually. There was a small library at the hospital, though it was more of a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I'd go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. Started feeling naked without a book in my hands. That's a good problem to have, my friend. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. Felt like the time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me were painfully crashed into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I'd set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I would put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. Fetch, man. But that happened only rarely. And I couldn't even cry. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since the last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, and setting them aside just to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Sounds like something I would do. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you today? Can't read, apparently. I didn't answer him, but I smiled a little back at him. I believe you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand, then take a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications stares back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. Wow, fetch. What if this is real? Like, is this actually what someone with this condition would need to take, like, every day? Fetch. That would be insanity. This is insane. I'm glad we're on the same page, buddy. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All of this, for the rest of my life, every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed. I wouldn't be surprised to see the list fade over the years. Years. What kind of confidence booster is that? I haven't felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken to your parents, and we believe it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Yeah, that would suck. Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me if you knew for well I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that the medication is suitable. So, I've spoken with your parents about the transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy. It specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? That's gotta be a rough conversation to have. It's like, maybe if you, like, had a missing limb, you'd be like, well, yeah, obviously I'm disabled. But, like, something like this, even knowing how long he's been in the hospital, it would still be a shock. It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of the students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designated to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. It's actually a decent idea, to be honest. I mean, I'm trying to be freakishly expensive, but like, at least it kind of gives them a semblance of a real life. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like I really didn't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a gosh darn opportunity. Well, sorry. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and wow, it's not the same one. A special school. That's an insult. That's what it is. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right. Many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I can already tell he's so inexperienced with it. Like I definitely have my share of contact with people. One of my favorite things I've ever done is I volunteered at Special Olympics, and while that obviously had a lot of different applications to those words, I got to meet a lot of people who have both mental and physical disabilities. And I got to see how normal they really are. Like, it sounds stupid when you say it out loud, but at the same time, it's one of those things where most people don't think about it, because we tend to not like to think about things that are uncomfortable or different or that we're unfamiliar with. But I'd highly recommend being able to be involved in something like that, because especially the definition of the Special Olympics is about people pushing themselves. Like the Olympics is the same thing. But they're shooting for world records, and they're shooting for glory. The Special Olympics is about giving people who normally are considered unable to participate in a lot of normal functions with everyone else. It gives them an opportunity to shine. And it's impressive and heartwarming and an honor to be able to work for that and to help with that. It's one of the best things I ever did in my whole life was being able to work with them for a week and just be a part of what was going on. So if you have a chance, I would look it up. A lot of times they have events nearby, especially if you live near a bigger city. And they also, it is a worldwide organization, so like check, I'm not sure what it would be called in other countries, but like to look around, because they do have like a international Special Olympics. I don't know if they do it every 4 years like the normal Olympics would, but I know that they do have like world level of it, so like you can really find it pretty much anywhere. So if you ever come across it, or if you have your own stories, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. It's really fun to hear those kind of conversations and just kind of touch base with some like similar experiences that we've had. Personally, I worked at a soccer field, but let's jump back into the story. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny, I always thought my life was actually kind of boring, and now I miss it. I wanted to protest. I wanted to blame the lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I could get back to school anyway, but no. I didn't say anything. The fact that I know is now futile. I looked around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I didn't see anything that would make me feel any different. It really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going into a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think to get through me at this, through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start. My life isn't over. That's a key right there. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. Good. He's not completely, out of touch with all this going on. Your life's not over just because you have a derailment. And it doesn't have to be a disability. Life throws crap in your way. And sometimes it's actually not something you can just get around and get over. We always hear stories of people overcoming challenges. Some challenges can't be overcome. They have to be circumvented. They have to be overcome. There's a difference between blasting through your problems and having to work through your problems. I think it'd be the difference between trying to walk a path and having a bunch of having a tree that's fallen against it. You can work at a tree, you can chop up a tree, you can get rid of it. Those are the problems you can hack away. Sometimes you find a mountain in your way and you can't move that mountain, you can't dig it away, but you can climb over it and you can get to the other side. And it's harder, but you can still find yourself a path, even if it's not the original one you started on. At the very least, I like to see what my new life would look like. Dun dun dun! Let's see where he goes from here. Aww. Let's give you a little entry. Act 1, Life Expectancy. Very nice. Once again, art is blowing me away. I've seen full released games with a cost on Steam that don't look this pretty. The game looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, the gray plaster assembled into a hole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like the gate of a school that I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but I couldn't really decide. Probably not. Of course, I didn't want to God, what is wrong with me? Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for so long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace and felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with a brisk pace. I'm alone, and my parents are taking stuff to the dorm, so there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. Okay, now this looks actually like a photo that was then painted. I don't know if it's just been through a converter, or is it based on a real place and this person recreated it? It almost looks too finely detailed to be a recreation, so I'm not sure, but that's kind of cool. If this is based on a real thing, that'd be neat to know. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all the other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. This is your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big, too many just for a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this in my new school, in the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here that I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having the feeling I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flash all around me, catching my attention. Makes me think about people at the hospital again. How could they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color? So why am I feeling so anxious despite all the greenery? Yeah, I've been in operating theater a couple times, and every time I've always thought the color was weird. Anything kind of like it's like maybe white's a little too stark, but I never felt like there was anything in there that was like relaxing. Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprised myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life to return to. Interesting. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous when this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. Again, this looks like a picture. A tall man with bad posture notices me enter. I immediately start thinking about my posture. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. Whoa, hello, Mr. Scruff and Duff. You must be... Nikki? Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake. That is neither firm nor sloppy. He looks at his watch. Ah, I got an itch on my nose. Go away. The head nurse asked me to ask you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon's probably fine. We should get going to introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Your students are probably pretty rare. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel rather nervous. Thinking of this, I almost missed what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Yeah, of course. I like how it's choices. It's funny. I got started with visual novels because they had choices in them. This is the first game I've played with actual choices in it for a little while. I mean, I'm playing Starting to Get Zero, and it'll have choice. I had like one choice so far, and I'm going to do more, but I really got started with games like Ace Academy. That was like one of my big hooks, one of the first games I played. Yeah, of course. I'll introduce myself. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't it normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one given the first impression myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. I don't know if I'm doing his voice differently enough. I might change it up later. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down, the third door corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone! Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. That picture in the background, wait a second. I think I've seen that in another visual novel. Where have I seen that picture before? It's like, I didn't know they put me in this game. Get a grip. This is a big step. I know that. But there isn't a plenty point worrying about it so much. At least not this soon. Aw, they actually look fairly normal. I don't know what I was expecting. That's a terrible thing to say. Of course they look normal. They're people. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around. Partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling isn't usually high and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desks. The entire wall is taken up by blackboards and high old-fashioned windows only make them seem larger. Students' desks are just standard wooden desks with shelves underneath for books or wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the class and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me. There's something wrong with them. Only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing a thumb on her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the neutral tendency to listen to someone's talking about you, excuse me, I turned out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduced me to the class. Who's that in the background? Once again, why'd they put me in this game without asking? I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone's looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me look back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if she will make her invisible. Interesting. Was that the girl in the very back who had like her eye covered? Who's this guy with the glaring eye? There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone that young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me with the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. Alright, that's probably her with the blue hair. She's kind of cute. So there's the cheery looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Yeah. She's got the ringlets, if you like the ringlets thing. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hand, so does everyone else except for one girl in the front row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it as I bow, thanking for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. Why am I saying Nakai? That's like English again. It's messing up my Japanese. Trust me. If you join our Discord, I'm collecting scenes like the viewers like will put out like when I slaughter Japanese. They're sending clips and kind of posting the clips in the Discord channel. I'm gonna make a compilation soon of just all my goof ups. It's gonna be emasculating but hilarious. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. After that, I'm being so boring. It's exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. He's really good at being like, I should do this, and then not. Everyone seems to be satisfied, even with what little I said, though. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep around across the room. I wish I could see like the left side. Everyone still seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again in what feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. Makes me feel a little bad. Ow, just popped my elbow. We're going to be doing some group work today, so I'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. Kind of reminds me of Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Well, that's good. You can work with, here we go again. Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passed on the day's assignments and announcements that we'll be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. Oh, nice. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with the bright pink hair and golden eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Because we're a protagonist, we have to sit next to the window. Oh, well. It's cliche, but someone has to sit there. Hi, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's good to meet you. Oh boy, now you listen to my terrible, terrible female voices. I'm so sorry. This is probably the one thing that's not good on my channel. Well, okay, to be fair, I'm not perfect, obviously. I do my best, but if we have a lot of girl characters I have to voice, it's gonna be a struggle, so bear with me. So, Shizune. I don't know how to... that makes me hurt too. What? I caught off by her laughter. Whoa, what the? It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi. Shi-chan. So I like how it even crossed it out. I hope that's just her, I'm so bad because it's like this is a school with people who might have like oddness to them, and so like I look at her shirt and I'm like, I hope those are just poofs and that she doesn't have like Like, have you seen the one like poodle lady, like the poodle exercise lady? Like, I hope that's. Like, I wonder if she's got that. And I'm like, and that's a terrible thing to think. Ah, ooh, she's really cute, actually. Holy crap! Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one who I saw use sign language before. It looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she's acknowledging my presence, but only barely. Okay, I just heard a weird, like, meow song, like, note in the music. Was that... I mean, am I going crazy? Because that definitely didn't sound, like, intentional. She has short yet carefully neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Sign language is something I wish I could learn. Like, besides learning another language, my goal is first to learn another language, but sign language would be like my second pick because, I mean, it's so useful for like to help people out, and it's so cool too. Like, I just like the idea of being able to use your hands because I talk with my hands a lot too, so it'd be nice to emphasize it with actual words. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I started to wonder if the teachers were messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you?" I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would be. Why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. And she's back to doing her own thing. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan is, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up there for no reason, right? Right? Okay, pink-haired girl, you're fun and bubbly, but it might be a little much, Misha. He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there were going to be new students, but we didn't know he would be here today so soon, He-chan, right? He-chan. Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. Never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Look at that smug face. Yeah, you just look like a He-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her finger on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants to know wants you to know she's the class rep, so is there anything you need? You know you're free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with a hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. I kind of started this voice. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you get there. Not just with school either. Anyways, even if it's a trip to the convenience store, really, Shi-chan? Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that. Just didn't care enough to do so. I heard the note again. Did you hear it? It's like, meow. I guess it's intentional, but it just seems out of place. I didn't look forward to this. You know, I committed myself to going along with this halfway, but anyway. I don't say anything. Misha signs something and ends with a shrug. What was that? Seemed like it was about me. Oh man, it's like any other language. It's like, are they talking about me? Are they talking about me? It can be unnerving. It'd be the weirdest part, and probably the most frustrating part about going to another country if you can't speak the language. And absolutely, they talk about you with another language because it's. I mean, why wouldn't they? They can just say whatever they want in front of you. I like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deep. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. She's fat, just like, can we crank it down a little? You're just a little intense. Alright. And another thing. You don't have to call Shi-chan something formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe it's a little too casual. Maybe Shizuna would be more appropriate? Oh yes, I didn't realize she was blushing until that last second. Yep, Shizuna's fine. Okay, that'd be a lot easier for me. Feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Shizuna, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she still seemed like that, just less so, I guess. Huh? Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start working on it now, or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment looks kind of long. Should we start now? So we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. That too. Shizuna glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. She's like, she doesn't come up as tsundere-esque. It's more just, she's just very like, punctual. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment's actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Aw, the busy work. Oh well, it's important, I suppose. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than everyone else in the class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're really quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. And there's that picture again. Jeez. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who's beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Matoru, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern to contrast the classic exterior. And creepily like my high school lunchroom. Fetch! We had like the same tile! We didn't have like the bubble seats. But man, that's honestly almost disturbing how similar that is. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Thank you, Sherlock. I never would have known. Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. Oh, nice. Almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to the table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently on the food I'd rather not eat, Mishka pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Shizuna. That's Shizuna. Sorry, I said it wrong. I said Shizuna. That's not the right sound. Shizuna. I don't understand sign, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at the person who talks is proper and polite. Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We're the guides. You should ask if there's something. I wonder. I mean, I get. Here's the thing. First roadblock. Is it rude to just ask about someone's condition? I would assume I'd want to get to know them better. But I guess you could do the quick ones. Be like, well, have you always been deaf? But still, that seems. Ask about the library. Oh yeah, is there a library at this school? Lately I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear she didn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. There it is! It's in the second floor. We can show it to you sometime. Thanks. I return my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. Well, I mean, it's a little paranoid, but I mean, maybe. They're They're most likely just trying to discuss like what they think of you. Quickly notice the conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. Aww. The dark-haired girl I noticed before slumped over her desk in the last row. Oh. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with an elegance of a rhino. Yeah, Misha's gonna be funny, but she's crazy. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel the tension all the way from here, as if she was slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it, as they walk directly past her to the seats and begin to converse. I'm much wondering about her, even when the classroom totally fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of the school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. And I bet you that's part of it, but it's also just your condition and all those meds you're on, I'm sure. Before long, the final bell rings. School's finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hichan. We've got to get hurrying already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it. Oh, wait, the teacher said I'd have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. There's a picture again. That picture's gonna haunt this entire playthrough, isn't it? We join the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and letting outside, with the girls pointing out the other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to a smaller building right next to the school. It's built the same style, so it looks like it's actually part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of offices and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation offices and the nurses' offices. They even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hichan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Ah, that makes sense. Anyway, all the nursing staff facilities are there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We're going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building of stuff that has nothing to do with the actual education. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in, hoping that it really will be okay, will be only a quick visit like the teacher said. You know, it's kind of funny, I actually should mention this. My mom does physical therapy, and she specializes in children who have physical disabilities. And she works with like elementary school, primary school aged kids. And she works a lot in the pool for therapy sessions, you know, helping them work muscles they normally can't work without the support of the buoyancy of the water. Very fascinating stuff and very caring. My mom's a very loving individual, and she loves children. She was a fantastic mother, and now that she's an empty nester because all her kids are moved out, she's just, you know, she now helps other kids, and it's really awesome. I wish they paid her more. They don't pay her enough. I'm hoping she'll get a job somewhere else because the place she's working at right now is not the greatest, but she loves what she does. I'm very proud of her. And I walk in. I was hoping this would really only be a quick visit like the teacher said. On the white door on the left is a green cross with the text Head Nurse and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I find myself further inside. Having watched anime, there's a 50-50 chance this is either going to be a horrific like walk-in situation, or it's going to be just normal. The room is not large. It smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around in his office chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, with the bin under the tables overflowing with used medical utensils. There's at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Hello there. What can I do for you today? It's young-looking, sort of rugged, but the dimples on his cheeks wash that impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who's heard the very same question 100 times. Ugh, that sounds creepy. Why, yes I am. Says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name, just the nurse, like everyone else. A Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right. I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher said I should come meet you. My name is Hisao Nakai. His eyes light up with revelation, and he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nakai! I was just reading your file this morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia related to congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in the vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes. Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over that quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there's a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His jokes feel so out of place that I'm left thinking why he even said it. Sounds like my jokes. Yeah, that's really weird to have so many medical people at the school. You get used to it. I'm not sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know. Now, let me just find your file again. While he's searching for something on his computer, he shuffles stacks of papers around. I'll let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'll say that. Beige walls, a ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, and the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters that hang on all four walls reminding me to eat properly, 3 times a day and from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So, you already have medication, the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening. It won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins at his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with my classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend you refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of confessions that might be very dangerous to your heart, risking another attack is not a good idea. Well, was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There's no mention of the cause in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably. He glances over at me with his papers, with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you some good. We have physical therapy, such available as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks, or even light jogging, jump rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe? There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. At any rate, I'm sure I'm sure you've been told this before, but you just need to take care not to overexert yourself. He wagged his finger to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risks. Take care of yourself. Okay. Excuse me. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk, obviously content. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I ushered out before I even realized it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building with auxiliary buildings, although to my eye, this is like one and the same. Yep. As we get ready for bedtime, I'm sure he's going to have a lot of other counters and social interactions, so before we jump into that, I think this will be a good place for us to stop for our first episode. Fascinating. I love the premise so far. It's very interesting, something I've never really seen before. And this, of course, is highly recommended, so I'm very excited to continue it. Just FYI, for those of you who might be new, this will be published every Friday. So you can look forward to this coming out every Friday. On Mondays, currently, I am running The House in Fata Morgana, and on Wednesdays, I'm doing Steins Gate Zero. You'll see that in my About section. Of course, that'll change as I finish them. But there's definitely a lot more to play through and a lot more stories to talk about, so feel free to continue to stick around with us. Hopefully this is something that's caught your attention. Once again, this is a labor of love. I'm not charging any monetization on this video. If you saw an ad, it's a YouTube one, it's not mine. Not that that really matters, ultimately. I just want to show respect to the creators, and I want you to understand that's important. Now, for your understanding too, I also have a kind of a rule on my channel. I only show 1, maybe 2 endings. The second 2 endings is an exception for a game like Steins Gate, where you'd miss a ton of content if you did get the true ending. But it's going to leave a lot of stuff for you to explore, and especially with a game that's literally free, I absolutely recommend you download it yourself. As a matter of fact, download it before you watch me play through it. Whether you played it or not, you should play through it, gonna go through, experience your own ending or maybe multiple endings, and then while we're going on the journey together, you can tell me what you thought while you were playing at the same time. I look at this channel not so much as a video game channel. I look at it more like a book club or a literature club. We're sharing these stories together. Now, you can always just join me on the journey if you like watching me and kind of experiencing it with me, or you can experience it for yourself and then come back and watch me kind of as in a reflective way as to, oh, this is what he noticed or this is what he didn't notice. Either way, I just want you to enjoy yourself and enjoy yourself on this channel. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope I get to hear from every single one of you who feels like sending me a little hello or just commenting on something you noticed. And for those of you who I don't hear from, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. You guys, you make this so much fun. I started this channel because I love visual novels, and I had literally no one to talk to about it. And I always strive and I hope that I can see this channel grow into something super amazing and wonderful, and like every YouTuber, like I have the dreams and aspirations to really take this all away, but that's not the important part of the channel. If I never had another subscriber from here on out, it wouldn't make a big difference to me, especially because the community is so fun. So if you are curious to know more about that community, like there's a Discord link in the chat in the description down below. You can just join up there. I'll be having chat rooms and a not safe for work, but it's a spoiler chat room where you can talk about stuff that you can't let me see because you don't want to spoil stuff for me. It's a great place to connect with other people who are watching this, and you can also message me. I'm on there pretty frequently, so I can often answer your questions. And there's always something more interesting going on. The announcements there are really easy to pick up on if there's something different happening. But all in all, just want to welcome you here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And until the next video you're watching me, or whatever you see me in next, I'll see you there.